if I achieve nothing else, I want radical right-wingers, I want white people, I want Christian nationalists to stop using the word we when you talk about Trump, when you talk about the GOP. We have this tendency to identify with the Republican Party. Why?
Once again, Nick is back with another fiery, charismatic, and accurate rant against Trump and the GOP. This time, taking aim at the administration and clarifying who is really winning at this point in time.
People say, we need to win this election. We need to do this. We. There is no we. It is not we. We are not getting shit. They are getting paid. They are getting paid to promote the GOP. They, the politicians, are getting the privileges of being in office. They are getting favors dispensed and kickbacks. They won. You, we, I did not get anything, did not get shit. Unemployment is way higher. The job market sucks than they're letting on. And whereas the Biden administration was trying to forgive student loans and wipe medical debt from your credit score, things that actually help you, this administration's not doing any of that. Not doing any of that. They extended the corporate tax cut. It's like, so we don't get anything when they win. The Democrats and the Republicans are they. They, the Democrats, they, the Republicans, they take turns in office. Obviously, yes, the Republicans have better policies than the Democrats, but not by much. And it's a lot closer than you might think.
So what are we getting? Pro-Indian messaging. Exposed last night by Nick Sortor, there is a deep network of MAGA-affiliated accounts on X being paid to promote pro-Indian messaging, some of which are pretty large, Defiant L's, Matt Wallace, and Community Notes and Violations being just a few of many. These are the same accounts that say we need to vote for X, we need to support Trump, you get the point. But let's continue.
And this Epstein thing is just the biggest example. They promised you, and they think about like the culture they created around this for 5 years. The way they hammed up this Epstein thing. Epstein, a pedophile island, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it's finally time to produce, they turn and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you care about that? You're an idiot. Whoa, you're a Democrat.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
And it's like, wow. It's like they literally, it's like those TikToks. It's like a prank where you go through the drive-thru and they duck down and they come up and it's a completely different person. 5 years. We could not hear the end of the Epstein files. The second they get into office and people want them, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, you care about that? Oh, get real. That's not actually affecting anybody. You care. That's a hoax. That was never real. If you still care about that, you should just switch parties already because that's not loyal. That's hostile.
And where are we with Epstein? The latest is that James O'Keefe, everyone's favorite investigative journalist, is currently beefing on the timeline with the Department of Justice because he caught Joseph Schnitt on video admitting that the government will redact every Republican off of the Epstein list while leaving all of the liberals.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep it on show.
Yes, that same list that did exist, then didn't, then was on Pam Bondi's desk, then disappeared again. That.
And they do this with everything. They did it with immigration. The second that Trump passed the big, beautiful bill, he did a rally and said, we're going to slow down the deportations for illegal immigrant farm workers. Everyone's you're not going to like it, but you'll understand. The insults keep coming. And anyway, I doubt they're going to get the votes to release these because it's going to require 2 votes from the Republicans. And these Republicans are being threatened. Now, the whole weight of this MAGA machine, which is just a monstrosity, how much money they've raised because of who they represent. The GOP represents now Wall Street, Silicon Valley, Israel. It's got a huge war chest, way bigger than the Democrats. And now what is that machine? What is it arrayed against now? Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is one of the only congressmen, maybe the only Republican speaking out against Israel and saying that we should put America first. He's leading the charge on opposition to our intervention in the Middle East. He's leading the charge on Epstein. And now he's public enemy number 1 of MAGA. And he is being persecuted by Susie Wiles, a fucking lobbyist. He is being persecuted by Lindsey Graham, who Trump endorsed for the 4th time or 3rd time. Think of this. Think of this. Obviously, something has gone wrong. You will not get the Epstein files, even though the Trump administration, it's their prerogative. It's their DOJ. They could do it tomorrow. They won't. They're fighting not to. They're fighting Thomas Massie. The never-Trumpers that took over MAGA world are turning the Death Star laser of Silicon Valley and Wall Street and Israel's money that powers the GOP to destroy Thomas Massie because he dared to say America first when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and Israel.
So think about this. We are shunning Thomas Massie and now Marjorie Taylor Greene while cozying up to the likes of Lindsey Graham. Not to mention the recent meetings between Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, in my opinion, being someone who should be tried in court for electioneering, in Silicon Valley getting money funneled back into them, likely from your tax dollars, as Israel recently announced their new 6-month propaganda campaign to dump millions of dollars into ads. You are lying to yourself if you think this is the same movement from 2016.
Something has gone terribly wrong. And that's why you're not going to get 2 more votes here. Where's Paul Gosar? Where is that fucking asshole? Huh? Where's Paul Gosar, the courageous hero? I don't know. Ask his wife. She knows. She runs his life. She runs his shit. Coward. Where's everybody else? Where's the MAGA caucus, huh? You have these freakazoids. Lauren Boebert, who's doing sexual stuff in the movie theater. Nancy Mace, who is a psycho. They're the only people that believe this stuff in the GOP. They're the only people that are actually true believers. Where are all these other 210 Republicans that it was so critical to go out and vote for in the last cycle? Where are they? It's no different than, do you remember in 2022 when at that time they said they were going to release the 45,000 hours of J6 Capitol footage? Remember that whole debacle? Remember when all the 2000 January 6 patriots were languishing in prison and there was 45,000 hours of footage from Capitol Hill security cameras that could have exonerated them? We were promised that in the midterms then, and they didn't deliver. I shouldn't say they didn't deliver because they did deliver the footage to somebody. Anybody remember? Does anybody remember who those 45,000 hours of Capitol Hill footage were delivered to? One person got them. One person was able to review them. Does anybody remember who it was? Tucker Carlson. Remember that whole episode? Oh, no, I totally forgot. Oh, no, I forgot. That's what they do every time. That's what they count on. In 2022, we're going to release those 45,000 hours of footage. We're going to get to the bottom of the Fedsurrection. We're going to get to the bottom of this conspiracy. Fedsurrection, Fedsurrection. We're going to get to the bottom of it. When we take the House, we're going to subpoena the government and get the footage. They didn't. Oh, wait, they did, but they gave it to one person, Tucker. Whatever happened to it, guys? Whatever happened to the footage? Notice a pattern? They did the same thing here. 2024, we're going to get to the bottom of this conspiracy. It's a pedo island conspiracy. We need to get elected to have transparency. They get elected. Oh, you care about that? You're crazy. You're a Democrat. And pay attention to every influencer on the internet. Pay attention to every dumbass influencer that is telling you you're crazy, that is against Thomas Massie. Pay attention to everyone that's on the wrong side of this issue, because it either means they're being paid, just like the Democrats. There was a big scandal that came out. I forget which publication. It was a left-wing publication. But just like all the Democrats are on the payroll of the DNC, all the influencers, it's the same with the Republicans. If anyone's against Massie, they're either on the payroll of the Republicans or they're too stupid. But do not let them gaslight you into thinking that we don't deserve this. Because, and it goes without saying, the only reason we're not getting disclosure on this is because it would indict Israel. Obviously. How about these new revelations that Peter Thiel and the Prime Minister of Israel and Jeffrey Epstein were all hanging out together repeatedly? How about that new revelation?
And do you think most people's favorite conservative influencers touched the subject? Why not? Where is Jack Posobiec or Charlie Kirk even? Once you see the gatekeepers for what they are and who they protect, you will never be able to unsee it.
Why do you think they don't want to release it? It's because they're implicated. The Republicans are implicated with Israel. They protect themselves. Israel is part of it. That's why they won't release it. And so this idea that, you know, we're going to vote for Trump and Trump is going to deliver the revolution, obviously he's part of it. He's with them. Obviously. Vance, Thiel, Tucker, they're all with them. Don't you understand now? That's what this shows. And if there wasn't something in there, why would they not release it? For all of these Republicans that are protesting this so much, why not just release it then? If it's a hoax, if it's a distraction, why not just release it and get it over with? Why fight tooth and nail to prevent the disclosure? Why marshal the resources against Republicans, create animosity with Marjorie Greene and Thomas Massie and the base? Why go through all this? Of course, because they're hiding something. They're protecting their own, obviously.
This was a bit cathartic for me to listen to, because one of the biggest things that has grinded my gears has been this incessant insistence that we are all on the same team, from a bunch of liberals who simply don't like transgenderism. When they say repeal the 19th, they nervously laugh and they look at their wife. When I say repeal the 19th, I mean it, and quite frankly would probably stare down my wife. And it is largely on all social issues this schism exists on the right wing. For example, a mega conservative looks at Islam and is enraged that the woman's not in yoga pants and a crop top. But when I see Islam, I wish that our women would respect themselves in that fashion. And maybe this is a wake-up call for someone in the audience that you're being sold a bill of false goods, or maybe you've just been lying to yourself. But that is where I will leave it. Let me know your thoughts if I missed anything, and like always, I will see you guys in the comments. Peace.
Smash that like button.